Coming up on District-Wide Update, Washington Middle School switches things up at this year's parent-teacher conferences. Then find out about a new 21st century learning plan being piloted by teachers in the district. Finally, some Prescott students take the runway with their annual paper dress show. Learn about all that and so much more right now on District-Wide Update. Hello and welcome to this edition of District-Wide Update. Now, as usual, there were a lot of great things happening in the district this month, and I'm about to fill you in on some of them. So sit back, relax, and let's check it out. The school board held its monthly meeting Monday, March 11th, and in case you missed it, here's a quick recap. The board began the meeting in a legal closed session to discuss the evaluation of Superintendent Stan Rheingans. During the open session, the board publicly expressed its unanimous support of Rheingans and in new business voted to extend his contract through June 30th of 2015. Two public hearings were held at this meeting, one to award the Jones Campus Elevator Project, which will work to enhance ADA access to the facility, to Epic Construction, and another to award the Kennedy School Addition and Remodel Project to Portzen Construction. The board also approved the hiring of Dan Johnson as the next principal of Dubuque Senior High School. Johnson, who is currently an assistant principal at the school, will begin the appointment for the 2013 to 2014 school year. Finally, the board acted on a number of building project action items as part of the Facilities and Support Services Committee report. Now remember, you can always catch the latest school board meeting in its entirety. Check out our website at www.dbqschools.org or stick with us here on Channel 16 and 97.6 for daily replays. Well, it's that time of the year again. Time for parents to get the inside scoop on how their students are doing in school. But this year, Washington Middle School decided to try something new. The parents and teachers are still meeting, but this time, the students are in charge.
Parents can get on Power School to see grades every day, and we thought we'd give the students a chance to tell their parents what they've done and celebrate things they've learned and maybe talk about some struggles and what they've learned from that.
The teachers are calling it a celebration of learning. It's a new way to open up the communication between parent and student. The students pick different artifacts from each subject and turn it into a presentation of their work.
The students are a lot more reflective than they have been. And when we gave them the chance to reflect on each artifact, they really took their time and they really put in the effort. They're really gaining confidence and gaining ownership and pride.
It was kind of different because the teachers were sitting behind me, and so then I got to talk more about how I did instead of just them telling what my grade was and how I did. So I think it was good.
Although they were a little hesitant at first, the students walked away from their conferences feeling pretty good about themselves.
I kept asking my students, who knows more about you than you? Why don't you tell your parents how you're doing and where your troubles are and what you're proud of? They have a much better idea than we do.
It was kind of nerve-wracking at first, but it was fun. I think my parents liked it.
The conferences were very successful. The teachers are already talking about continuing this format next year. What do you want to be when you grow up? It's a question we frequently ask our students, but most of them don't realize the different career opportunities out there. Well, Marshall Elementary is giving its students a chance to find out. It's called the Career Cafe, and it's a way for 5th graders to get the inside scoop on different professions.
We invite about 4 speakers to come and visit with our students, and students select which speaker they would like to listen to based on what their interests are, and then they will go to a room with that speaker during their lunchtime, and they will have kind of a lunch and learn. They'll sit and eat their lunch, and the speaker will tell them all about their career choice and how they selected their career and what sorts of things they had to do in order to get into their career. The students ask questions, and sometimes they do some fun activities.
The students get to see anything from a dance instructor to a chef and even a federal marshal.
Career exploration should start, when kids are in kindergarten, in my opinion. Most of our students want to be rock stars or football players, so this just kind of expands their knowledge base, and they get to learn about career options that most of them didn't even know existed.
I've gotten to see a person that helps the homeless and a police officer. I learned about how their jobs help people and how it helps our community.
And when you ask them what they want to be when they grow up?
I want to be a teacher when I grow up. Because you can help the students learn and help them succeed.
It's a pretty successful way to get the students interested in different careers.
They love it. They really do. They always ask me, when's the next career cafe?
It's pretty cool how many different people in the community are willing to give their time to talk with the students. They really love it, and it makes a big impact on their lives. Well, congratulations are in order for this year's Math Counts team from both Washington and Roosevelt Middle School. Students from both schools finished in the top 10 and will be moving on to the state competition on March 22nd at Drake University. Math Counts is a national math competition for middle school students. There are both individual and team tests. Problems cover various topics and are very challenging. The students compete face-to-face, 2 at a time, answering questions as fast as they can in front of a full auditorium of people. The kids require good problem-solving skills and are judged on accuracy and speed. The top 5 individuals at state go to the national competition in DC in May. We're sending lots of good luck your way, kids, and we hope it adds up to great success. March 1st was Read Across America Day. Many of the elementary schools in the district had guest visitors to read and talk to their students. Eisenhower had the pleasure of hosting a children's book author. Catherine Hannigan, author of Emmeline and the Bunny and Ida B., visited Eisenhower Friday morning. She hosted 2 assemblies where she read portions of her books and shared stories about her life. She talked through the process of writing Emmeline and the Bunny and even showed the kids how she drew the illustrations. The kids had lots of questions and really enjoyed listening to her stories. Some of the other guests included a retired Dubuque Community Schools reading teacher and a Loras College education major along with a Loras College professor. Technology is all around us and changing at the speed of light. It can be an amazing tool in the classroom. It's also an important thing for students to embrace and understand as they prepare for life after school. So to prepare them for success, the Dubuque Community School District is piloting a new 21st Century Learning Plan.
The 21st Century Learning Plan is a plan that we began this year, and it's based off the 21st century skills that we are trying to get across to all our students and teachers to help them become more college and career ready. A few of them are communication and collaboration, and then we have innovation and creativity, things of that nature.
The plan is based off the Dubuque framework for the 21st century learner. 22 teachers are piloting the program this year and are being trained by a staff of technology coaches.
It's exciting because we're kind of on the forefront of deciding how this might happen in the classroom and how it might happen the best way for our students. Our kids' platform these days is really digital. Most of their communication is happening on the internet, on their cell phones, and it's not going anywhere. I think that we need to tap into those resources and those tools, the things with which they're already familiar, to help them become better learners. And we just cannot cling to pen and paper anymore.
And it's not just about integrating the technology. It's also about the students working together, asking questions, and becoming more actively involved in their education. It's a collaborative learning process between teacher and student.
Instead of going into a classroom and seeing kids sitting in rows, you have kids in groups. You have kids working together collaboratively on a real-world, authentic problem versus something that's just for school. We have to make the learning meaningful for them, and that's really what the 21st Century Skills is all about.
As the teacher, it's been very useful because it's encouraging me to think of new ways that I can help my students grasp concepts and communicate better. In blogging, for example, the kids, they don't balk at going to a blog and writing what they think about a certain subject. Whereas if you have them dragging out a journal and a pen, you kind of get the moans and groans and like, I got a journal again. And you get them in a blog and they just go because they're so used to posting on Facebook and you know, their fingers are used to, you know, the communication from the mind to the fingers is they've already tapped into that. So when you get them going on a blog, it's just a natural response.
So far, the pilot has been good for both teachers and students. It's a new learning process that will only better a student's chance for success in the future.
It's learning at its best because almost no one learns in isolation. Learning at its best is in community, and because the 21st century skills are, for lack of a better word, forcing us to use the technology as a learning tool, it is getting us away from an orthodox way of teaching that was established during the Industrial Age. So in a way, it's moving us forward in avenues that weren't available before. I have to go there in order for my kids to get the best out of their education. I have to change.
Early feedback from those involved in the pilot program has been very positive. The teachers are excited about it, and most have already taken steps to implement these new teaching methods in the classroom. Well, here's something cool. Do you have a favorite music teacher? Well, if you don't, you should. I know I've certainly had many favorites. And for every great musician, there's a music teacher somewhere who helped them get there. And they deserve to be recognized. That's why this year the Grammys are holding a Nominate Your Favorite Music Teacher competition. The deadline is April 15th. They'll select 10 finalists, including one winner, to be flown to Los Angeles to accept the award and attend the Grammys. If you'd like to nominate someone, go to www.grammymusicteacher.com and click on Apply. Well, there was an elementary school version of Project Runway at Prescott this month, but the dresses aren't made out of your everyday clothing material. See for yourself. It's the 6th annual Prescott Paper Dress Show. That's right, you heard it correctly. The students designed and constructed their very own paper dresses to show off on the runway.
It was modeled after Project Runway. I really enjoy the show. I like the artistry of it, and then they have a timeline. They have to use certain money. They have to know the history of what they're making. They have to know the art and be able to create it so that they don't recreate the wheel, kind of a thing. So it's the perfect lesson and project for students to use because they use all of that.
And it's not as easy as it may sound. The students break into groups, pick out dress designs from different eras, and then spend time learning the history of their dresses. Then they have one 45-minute period of time to sketch the dress, and 5 class days to get it ready for the runway.
I hype it up as the biggest art project they have in their entire Prescott career. And I think it kind of is, because no other project, although we have really fun learning celebrations and really educational for the parent learning celebrations, there really isn't one where we get a whole gym full of people where they get to show off their work.
And it's not just for Prescott. They bring in students from both Kennedy and Lincoln as well. Then the fashion show begins, and it's a pretty big event. They even bring in judges from the community.
I think it is a big deal to them. They really enjoy it, and it's even more fun when you get two different classes or 3 different classes that are really competitive with each other.
Now, when I heard paper dress show, I wasn't really sure what to expect. How can you make dresses out of paper? But I was absolutely amazed at the hard work the kids put into the dresses. They were very cool, and what was even cooler was how proud the kids were of all their hard work. What a great experience for them. Well, that just about wraps up this edition of District-Wide Update, but before we go, we'd like to give a big congratulations to all the high school students nominated for All-State Speech this year. There are way too many to name, but they put in a lot of hard work, and the nominations were well-deserved. Congratulations, everyone. Well, I hope you all feel up to date for this month. Of course, this doesn't even begin to cover all the cool things happening in our district. So if you have something going on in your schools that you think we should know about, please send us an email at tellyourstory@dbqschools.org. And for more coverage on our school district, you can always check out our website, www.dbqschools.org. As always, until next time, thanks for joining us.